Hi everyone, this is Michal, and I just wanted to welcome you to Module 2. I just wanted to kind of walk you through this second module, talk to you a little bit about hypothesis, about your PLA documentation in your next Flipgrid. Thank you to those of you who did your initial introductions. I've watched all of your initial posts, and I'll be looking at your responses later today. I will also plan to have feedback for your initial first journal within the next couple days as well. So once that's posted, make sure that you are looking through both the Google Doc, where I'll leave you some comments, as well as the gradebook as well. So week 2 or module 2 is all about starting your PLA resume. PLA resumes are a little bit different in kind of the traditional resume that you're used to, in that instead of listing your skills by job, you are listing your skills individually. So essentially be thinking about your skills, whether it's communication, leadership, technological skills, teamwork, things like that. Thinking about where you got that information and that knowledge. So what sort of jobs you were in, how you developed those skills and knowledge. So did you lead a team when you were in a certain job? Were you maybe the boss of certain people, so you've got leadership skills? Did you take certain trainings for tech skills? And then also when, so the timing for that. You'll see that in your PLA resume. But before I get ahead of myself, let's walk through what the week looks like. So you'll start by doing some reading from the textbook, and then we're going to have our first hypothesis discussion. So just as a reminder, you'll join your small group by clicking on hypothesis information. If your last name is A through L, you will join on this first link. If your last name is M through Z, you'll start on this link, and that'll just be a way to keep things separate. So once you have signed up for hypothesis, and remember you can go back to the video in week 1 about that. Once you are in hypothesis, you're going to click on the textbook link. You're going to see the appendix. You're going to click the right arrow to go to your first sample PLA resume. And you're going to get different examples as you click forward of different previous students' PLA resumes. Now, again, these are not for you to feel like you're comparing yourself. This final resume is after 3 or 4 weeks of work. So take a breath as you're reading through them, but think about what sort of selected accomplishments you're seeing. And then think about, as I mentioned, the what you know, where you learned how to do it, how you learned how to do it, and when you learned how to do it. So think about connecting those skills, those expertise areas. Feel free to separate out where you learned those different things, as well as the ways that you learned how to do that. Just as a reminder for hypothesis, you will select something, you'll click annotate. Make sure that you are under the correct section right here. So I've got my name, and then I've got Fall 21 Alpha Group. If I'd clicked in elsewhere, I can change to the Bravo group as well. Same thing. Just a note that if you highlight something, another student can't highlight it after you. They can comment, but they can't also highlight that section. So make sure that you're not, highlighting a whole big chunk of information, because no one will be able to highlight any things right in here. So that is hypothesis. Just as a reminder, make sure that you're posting in your small group, not to public. Check that corner of the screen. Make sure you're doing at least 5 comments in those resumes. Those can be questions, they can be comments. I'll be keeping an eye on that and going through to make sure that I'm seeing those responses as well. So then you're going to start working on your own PLA resume. Again, just as a reminder, you will be working on your brainstorming we're very much at the beginning of this process. This is a very, very early draft. Don't feel like you need to have a full, complete, finished, final, check, I'm done draft. This is a process. We've got plenty of time to do this. In your folder, you'll see a PLA resume document. You're going to use that to create your resume. So feel free to start working in that. Feel free to start thinking about what sort of documentations you might want to use. So maybe you've got things that are in a storage unit elsewhere. Maybe there are letters of recommendation that you're looking forward to getting. I would definitely recommend starting to think about those now so that if you need to make plans for that down the line, you can have things that are in place and ready to go for you. This is going to be due on Thursday, on Sunday. If you have any questions, of course, let me know. I'm just going to move my video up here for a second so I can click on the next button down here. Next, we're going to have a Flipgrid discussion for Kolb and Bloom. Again, just as a reminder, you know what Kolb and Bloom is. You maybe haven't heard it phrased in these ways, but you are going to do a just short video where you are kind of revising the 4 stages of Kolb and the upper levels of Bloom's taxonomy. As you start to kind of flesh those ideas out more, your reviewers are going to be looking for how you analyze Kolb and Bloom in terms of your own learning and your own development. So this is just a way for you to be practicing that. If you have a chance, before Sunday, you're going to go back to respond to any questions in Hypothesis. Make sure you do at least 3 comments to your members. So that's a total of 8 altogether. Of course, you're welcome to have more than that, but 8 is your minimum. And then by the end of the week, you are going to turn in your brainstorming and your planning draft. So just like with your journal, you're going to share the Google document and make sure that that is up and posted by Sunday. So this is kind of where we are week 2. In week 3, we're going to start focusing on the actual narratives of your different challenges, starting to do some brainstorming with that. But if you have any questions over the course of the semester, please don't hesitate. Sorry, it's Monday for me too. If you have any questions about the week, questions about the resume, anything like that, don't hesitate to reach out. Feel free to put a lot of those questions into the hypothesis because chances are your questions are going to be similar to other people's questions. So feel free to put those questions in there. As I mentioned, I'm going to be monitoring that to just to make sure that all your questions get answered. So if you have missing work from last week, please make sure to get that turned in ASAP. And if not, looking forward to seeing your thoughts for Module 2. Have a great one.